Welcome to my class, English 252, Introduction to Composition. Aptly named because it's exactly what this class is based on, the concept of composing essays. So, as you probably already know, this class is going to be a bit of a whirlwind since we only have 1 month to get through the material. We'll cover all that, all the expectations for this class within this lecture. As you can see here, I'm Jeremy Jackson, and here's my contact information at the bottom of this slide. However, since we're in the alternative instruction mode, that is to say, we're strictly online for this class, the office phone and the room number really doesn't apply. But the email, however, does. Please feel free to contact me via email at any time during the next 30 days if you have any questions or concerns. All right, let's get into it. Okay, here again, you can see my office hours, which really don't apply due to us strictly conducting online instruction. But as it says here under office hours, feel free to contact me via email anytime during the week in order to field any concerns or to seek any clarification for the class. I'll reply to you as soon as possible. I'll be scanning my email because of this class on an hourly basis. So I should be able to field any questions right away with a reply. Uh, let's go ahead and look at the calendar description. This course focuses on academic essay writing and critical thinking at the university level. English 252 is not a remedial course. Students should have at least a senior high school level of competency in both grammar and composition. Note, students cannot receive credit for both English 252 and Gen Ed 1401. Okay, so just looking at that statement, students should have at least a senior high level of competency in both grammar and composition. And those are two concepts, grammar and composition, that I'm going to drill down on heavily within this class. I'll attempt to point out moments, especially within say the first essay, where I believe your grammar or your punctuation is getting in the way of the content, and I'll give you instruction on how to correct that. And we're probably even going to have I think it's always handy to have a class where we dedicate the entire class to talking about punctuation, um, giving a lecture on that, so we're familiar with all the rules surrounding punctuation. Because I've received essays at times where there's enough run-on sentences and comma splices and misuse of colons and semicolons within the writing that it simply just gets in the way of whatever it is you're attempting to argument on behalf of or to express within the essay. So it's important to sort of get those what you consider musical notes for writing, get them correct, right? So we'll start with that, the fundamentals, and we'll move past it. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, as you can see here, the learning resources. The required textbook can be found at the college bookstore. You can purchase it online as well. Moran, KM, and Henderson are the authors, or the editors rather, of The Empowered Writer, third edition. It sort of has to be the third edition from Oxford University Press because individuals have used other editions. It's like the second edition. The information is in there, but it's not the same chapter. So if I said, as we see here, your first chapter summaries be on chapter 3, um, chapter 3 might be a completely different subject matter than what's in third edition if you purchase second edition. So we need to get the third edition. We will need this textbook as a portion of our grade is to complete chapter summaries. 5% of our grade, in fact, comes from the chapter summaries. It will be due to me every Friday via email by midnight. I'll cover this at the end of the lecture, but your first chapter summary will be on chapter 3, as I mentioned, which is entitled Paragraph Essentials. The chapter summary doesn't need to be any more than, say, a paragraph in length, single or double space, that's up to you. It can be conversational tone, not necessarily academic, and the formatting doesn't have to be MLA, just as long as I can read it and comprehend what you're saying. Really, the chapter summaries just let me know that you're reading the material. That being said, if you haven't purchased the textbook yet, you have until Friday when our first chapter summary is due. So you have a few days. Okay, this slide is fairly straightforward. Course objectives and learning outcomes. Students successfully completing English 252 should be able to do the following. 1, think critically when analyzing various literary works. Distinguish between, or number 2, distinguish between a text's main points and its supporting details. Number 3, summarize another author's work. And number 4, use correct grammatical form. So 3 is important, especially when we start getting into the expository essay and the argumentative essay, and even the last essay of this class, your research essay. It's going to become important for you to be able to go out there, reach out to whether it's databases or just any website online that's been vetted, meaning it's not just a blog of some sort. It's not Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a great starting place, but we're never going to cite an author from Wikipedia, right? We're going to go to the original source, and I'll have an MLA PowerPoint on that later on. But it's going to be important to borrow information from other people. Other people are the authorities, right, on any subject matter that you pick. You might be a partial authority on the subject matter, and surely you can have something to say within your argumentative paper or expository paper. But it has to depend heavily on other individuals who are experts within their field. So that's why summarize another author's work is going to become important. Okay, let's look at next slide. Okay, just course objectives and learning outcomes continued. Number 5, students within 252 should be able to write unified, coherent, and complete sentences, paragraphs, and essays. I think for the majority of us, that's not going to be a problem. Number 6, you should be able to argue logically and ethically, showing sensitivity to audience in both written and oral presentations. Formats, we're not going to have an oral presented format, obviously. One, we're not in a brick and mortar face-to-face situation. And I think I don't like to include that in any of my 252, in any of my classes, the oral sort of component. I don't think it does much for a class. Number 7, use research sources effectively to support a well-constructed argument, including the following abilities. Locate appropriate sources using the library catalog, article databases, and the internet. For sure, you're going to use that third part, that third component, the internet. Evaluate sources for suitability and credibility, right? We have to self-vet these websites, .orgs, .edus, .govs, .ca, the Canada government website. Those are all good sources, right? When we start getting to we have to be able to realize what some of the sketchier websites are, and therefore it's not good information or bona fide information we can integrate into our essay. Integrate sources smoothly and logically into text. And really what that means is give an attribution. And we're going to talk about that later, but attribution, when we get to the expository essay, not necessarily for our first essay, the personal essay, but definitely by the time we get to the expository essay, where we're just informing the reader on a subject matter, we're going to reach out and find information, quotes, paraphrases, summaries from other people that we think has to do with our subject matter. And we're going to want to integrate it smoothly into our essay by using words such as according to or he or she said, and then qualifying an individual. How are they an expert in the field? How are they an expert that can underpin and underscore your thesis statement? So we're going to want to put those logically and smoothly within our essay. So the last one, document sources correctly using a recognized citation style, which we know for this class. We're going to receive an entire lecture on it, and that's MLA, Modern Language Association, formatting style. Okay, as you can see here, the detailed course content, topics, and sequencing. I emailed everybody this, by the way, this course outline, this syllabus. So, I know maybe I'm sort of rushing through this, but you should be able to print it off or at least save it to your desktop and have it at your convenience, at your leisure, when you can look at it to make sure you're meeting these goals with regard to dates and deadlines. So English 252 is an introductory university level composition course designed to focus on academic essay writing and critical thinking. In order to enhance their current skills, students will study examples of effective writing and compose various written and oral assignments on their own. As we said before, we're going to negate the idea of oral assignments in this class. Wherever possible, English 252 is designed to recognize students' personal interests, objectives, and learning styles. To that end, this course will provide flexible and differing styles of writing with varying modes of delivery. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to give you a good example of effective writing, and sometimes I'll present it to you. Sometimes it'll be ineffective writing. So I think it's important to see good writing and ineffective writing, what would be considered poor writing. So you have examples of where to go, where you think you need to go, and where you think you need to avoid. And notice they say designed to recognize students' personal interests. Sure, that's fine. It's inevitable that some of your essays are going to be things that you're passionate about or that you enjoy doing, right? So your personal essay is going to be completely about you, your first essay, right? And that's going to be you as the expert. You don't have to reach out to any outside sources. Once we get to the next essay, the informative essay, or sorry, the expository essay, it's also synonymously called the informative essay because it does just that. It informs or explains, and hence the word expository. It might be something you're very interested in personally. That's fine. You still have to reach out to outside sources once you get to the expository essay, but surely you can write on things you're interested in. So the following schedule is provisional. We may adjust the sequencing depending on the pace of our online class discussions, and it could change. I hope that we could stick to this. I'm going to attempt to be as flexible as possible without individuals taking advantage of that. But this is the basic model. We're going to go through all the dates here, but this is the basic model. So June 1st today, introduction to the course and class expectations. Tomorrow, June 2nd, we're going to review, like we said before in the prior slide, modern language associations formatting style through PowerPoint, and we're going to review elements of personal essay because it's going to be important at that point that you're every Tuesday, every Monday your essay is going to be due. Every Tuesday, I'm going to lecture you on the next essay that we're going to do. And you can see how this really speeds up quickly. June 3rd, personal essay rough drafts due via Blackboard. And I'm going to speak about that tomorrow. But it comes up quickly, so we'll say every Wednesday, your rough draft posted to Blackboard. It has to be at least 2 pages long, double spaced. That shouldn't be that hard to accomplish. And it just has to be a rough draft. And exactly what it is. It's not polished yet. It'll be polished by the time you turn it on June 8th, Monday. But the rough draft posted to Blackboard is simply for you, as this is a workshop style class where we have to get feedback on other individuals' essays. It's for you to put it on Blackboard and for other individuals to come in to Blackboard and make comments, including myself. June 4th, Thursday, student workshop comments due via Blackboard. So as you can see, we're not going to receive a lecture that day necessarily. It's going to be you all day on Blackboard making comments. June 5th, and I'll let you know. I'll email you every day to let you know what we're doing that day and if I posted a lecture to Blackboard. June 5th, Friday, student workshop comments due via Blackboard discussion. Chapter summary due via email to me. June 8th, Monday, final personal essay due via Blackboard. Review elements of expository essay. Now we're moving on to the next essay. Now you can see where the whirlwind factor of this class takes place, how quickly it's going to move. We've already, by the end of the week, turned in one essay, and now we're moving on to the next one. Now we're going to look at databases and research methods. I think that'll be important with regard to the information you're going to want to integrate into your essay. All right, I'll just quickly cover this because it's pretty much the same model as the prior one, where we turned in our essay on June 8th, the Monday. Now we're on June 9th, Tuesday, to review elements of expository essay with example. I'll give you an example. We'll look at it. We'll parse from it the various parts of expository essay, how it needs to be balanced like a journalistic article and it's not taking one side like an argumentative essay. June 10th, Wednesday, as usual, expository essay rough drafts due via Blackboard. And again, it's going to be a rough draft. It's going to be at least 2 pages long, double spaced. Right? There might be some grammatical mistakes. There might be some information where the certain paragraphs need to be switched or transposed in order to be more logical in the way it unfolds. But that's fine. That's why we have the June 11th and 12th student workshop comments due via Blackboard discussion. I'll set up a discussion. I'll get the ball rolling. And then either someone could comment on the essay. That's really what I want. Let's go for that. Or you could counter someone else or comment on someone else. What I don't want is for someone to make a comment and be like, yeah, I agree with Johnny. He's totally right. I don't want that. I want you to have an original thought. You could expand on Johnny's thought, but it needs to be original. June 12th, Friday, student workshop comments due via Blackboard discussion, chapter summary due to me via email. And June 15th, that Monday, as we know, part of this compositional model is on Mondays, the final polished expository essay due via Blackboard, review elements of argumentative essay. So now we're moving on. By June 15th, we're halfway through the class. We're moving on to argumentative essay. So it's important, even during the week or on the weekend, when you're finishing up these essays that turn in on Monday, if you have any questions, to reach out to me. I'll be available. Okay, moving on. We have 2 more slides. 2 more slides with regard to the timeline, the due dates and everything within this class. June 16th, review elements of argumentative essay with example. I'll give you a strong example. June 17th, Wednesday, argumentative essay rough draft due via Blackboard, minimum of 2 pages double spaced. 18th, 19th, student workshop comment due via Blackboard, discussion, chapter summary due via Blackboard to me, or to do via email to me. And then June 22nd, that Monday, the due day for all published final argumentative essay due via Blackboard. Review elements of research essay and review database methods. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide. All right, final timeline of deadlines. June 23rd, review elements of research essay with example. You could choose the topic on any of your essays except for the personal. I mean, it could be, the personal essay is going to be about you. So you can't choose, you're not going to write about anybody else. You might mention other people. We're going to get this lecture soon. But all the rest, so in that way, you are sort of forced into writing about yourself. But all the rest of the essays, the landscape is completely open. You can choose whatever topic you want. And I don't want the topics to overlap. So a research essay is really going to be argumentative in nature. It's just you doing another argumentative paper. I don't want the argumentative paper that you write and the research essay to share similar topics. I want them to differentiate themselves with regard to topic and content. June 24th, Wednesday, research essay rough draft due via Blackboard, and then June 25th, student workshop comments due via Blackboard discussion, chapter summary due via email to me, and then we're going to take an MLA test via Blackboard just to make. And by this time, you should be well versed in MLA by the time we get down to this class. I know a lot of people are used to APA, so MLA is different than APA, and we're going to look at the examples throughout this entire class as to how it's different, how it differentiates itself. And then, of course, the very last class, June 29th, final research essay due via Blackboard to me by midnight. If you've gotten this far within this lecture, make sure you get to the end because I made some changes, and I'll be sure to email everybody that as well. We sort of touched on this before, the instructional technique. So this class, English 252, will function partly as an online workshop as we're posting our comments in the discussion board on Blackboard for other people's essays. That's the workshop component. That is to say, we will craft our essay drafts and other writing assignments in order to peer review them on Blackboard. Classroom activities will include short lectures, demonstrations, explanations, as well as a variety of worksheets for hands-on practice and experience. We're not going to do a variety of worksheets because we're working remotely, right? In addition, students in English 252 will be enrolled into the Blackboard site specific to this course, available through the Medicine College website. Hopefully everybody knows how to go into Blackboard because it is going to be an important component of this class, especially for our interactions. Through Blackboard, students will obtain additional course information and have opportunities for virtual collaboration in groups and on projects. And of course, you can always reach out to me via email. Okay, the grade assessment, an important component, right? Personal essay, we're just dipping our toes into the waters of composition, so it's only 10%. By the time we get to expository, it's bumped up to 15%. Argumentative, the same, 15%, part of your grade. The research essay, now we're getting to the 20%, right? And it's equal weighting with regard to percentage to the online workshop participation. So you see how important you not only just uploading your essay, not only having your essay put into Blackboard, but also going in there and commenting on everyone else's essay. Is important. You can see it's a large chunk of your grade. And then chapter text summary is a smaller part of your grade. Students in the past have just not done the chapter or text summaries, and they just say they forfeit the 5%. I mean, it's 5%. I mean, individuals could have passed the class. Certainly, it lowered the grade by some level. It's easy points. And then, of course, the MLA test at the end is 15%. And you will be well versed, as I said in the prior slide, with MLA by the time we get to the end of this class. Dates of major assessments. The personal essay final draft, June 8th. We've covered these. Expository essay final draft, June 15th. Argumentative essay final draft, June 22nd. MLA test, June 26th. And then the research essay final draft, June 29th. Participation, Blackboard forums/assignments, and workshops will be conducted and due throughout the semester. And we're going to really attempt to keep great fidelity to these due dates, because if we miss one, it really backs us up. I know things happen, life happens, extenuous activities take place. I get that, but we're going to try to stick to the integrity and fidelity of the schedule as much as possible, the due dates. Everyone would be delighted to know, especially if it was a regular semester, that there's no final exam set for this course by the registrar's office. I know there is a test, of course, on the MLA, but hardly an exam in terms of its weight. And especially if we're meeting face-to-face during a regular semester, it's always nice to have a class where you don't have a midterm or a final. Okay, late assignments and missed exam policy. So just forego the missed exam policy since we're not doing that. Late assignments are penalized 10% per day late. You must write me prior to the assignment due date if you're facing challenges that require you to reschedule. So email me. Bear in mind that rescheduling any assignment due date must occur before the original due date and must be in writing. So by in writing, we mean just an email, right? That's a contract. If you have to miss an assignment by a day or so and you reach out to me before its due date, then we form a contract and reschedule when it's due. Plagiarized work will result in a grade of 0 upon first offense and will result in a failure of the course upon second offense. Examples of plagiarism include copying passages from another source without proper attribution. So just over attribute, according to so-and-so, right? That tells me right off the bat that's someone else's words, right? So that's how you avoid plagiarism. Paraphrasing another author's work without attribution, what we just said. Make sure you include the according to and have the in-text citation that corresponds to an entry on your works cited page. And then plagiarism also could be to be contained within handing in work already evaluated in another course and passing off another person's work as your own. So we're not using any other essays from another course that you've written. You could plagiarize yourself, right, by using another essay from another course or someone else's course. I think we all know that's plagiarism. Now listen, I mean, it comes up maybe every other semester in the time I've been here at Medicine College that someone turns in an essay inevitably and invariably, and their writing is very sophisticated, and the information using is not in quotation marks. So I have to assume it's them telling me this information, that it comes from originally from their brain. They are the author of this passage that's very sophisticated in nature, and it's different in terms of its higher register and the sound of the paragraph than any other writing that they've done that semester. That's when I know. When I hear the music of your writing change, that's when I know it's being plagiarized. And I just easily go to the internet and I Google the passage and I find it somewhere else and I reach out to you and say, hey, you got to throw some quotation marks around this, or you got to attribute it, or both, hopefully both, say according to so-and-so quote, whatever the quote is, right? End quote. And then have a in-text citation that corresponds to the work entry on your works cited page. And we're going to cover that tomorrow. Sort of touched on this. Academic dishonesty, plagiarism, and cheating are serious offenses and may be punished by failure on exam, paper, or project, failure in the course, and or expulsion from the course. There's one thing I wanted to mention about plagiarism for the last slide that I failed to mention. Listen, I mean, there's been times that I've written essays, both academically and any iteration of my education, my higher education, where you inevitably and invariably sit down to write the essay. You reach out to databases or online libraries or other online sources and websites. You find some great information that you want to use. You write it down within your essay. You don't attribute it right then and there. You don't give it in-text citation right then and there. You walk away for a couple days, you come back, and you forget that you pulled it from another website. Then you think all of a sudden, as you're proofreading, that that's you talking. That's an original thought from your brain, and you forget. And then you get stuck plagiarizing without even unintentionally, not even deliberately on your part. So just be careful. What I do in the past is I put an asterisk. If I'm walking away, I will put like a red asterisk or highlight the text that I want to quote. I haven't really formulated the quote yet, but I know it's not my word, so I just highlight it in red and then hit save, and I walk away. And I know the red is always someone else talking. And then before I turn the essay in, I have to highlight everything and then make it black again, because that's part of MLA, right? To have completely black Times New Roman text. All right. So here we have the common grading scheme and just the regular grading scheme you typically see in higher education. Nothing's really different here. I'll let you look at this on your own. It'll become important, once you start receiving evaluations and marks for your work. But tomorrow I'm going to email everybody the rubric, and it really outlines what an effective or evocative essay is, and if it falls within the A+ range or if it falls in the A, and it actually lists specifically and precisely what it looks like to be a B paper or C paper, and it helps me justify to you, and it helps you sort of justify to yourself. Well, I see that I'm very close to. I'm at the A- level. I see I'm close to becoming going from that 85 percentage point to 86. I'm very close to getting the 86 to being in the A threshold, A range, and not the A-. But you see, maybe it's just one little thing like MLA that you're missing, right? The one little component that can tip you over into an A- or a B+ or a B, right? And then that really gives you a roadmap moving forward of how you can sort of correct your writing, so it is able to graduate to the next grade level. Accessibility statement. If you're a student that requires additional accommodation to support your learning, have been approved through our accessibility service office, room B367. I'm sure they're still open, during an online course. Please contact your instructor prior to exams or any other forms of evaluation if accommodation is desired. So the only evaluation that we're having that would be even close to exam is the MLA test at the end of the semester, at the end of this month. And you have all day. You're going to have all day to take that exam. So I think there's a couple individuals reach out to me with need of accommodation, and that's fine. But I think for the most part, you're going to be able to have all the time you need to take that MLA during that day period. Mental health statement. Medicine Hat recognizes the importance of student mental health and well-being and has many resources available for supporting students throughout their academic journey. Services such as counseling, support groups, self-help modules dedicated to helping you manage things like anxiety, stress, depression, and relationships are accessible to students on the campus as well as online. To connect with mental health and counseling, visit the student advising desk across from registration by calling the number listed. And information is also available through this web address. So I implore you to reach out to this if at any time you're stressed, and reach out to me. I mean, if you're stressed because of your due dates, I'm going to try to be as flexible as possible and have some level of empathy and leniency, as long as we're not taking advantage and really leaning on the idea of having to sort of make outside contracts with me for due dates, right? We want to try to stick, as I said before, to the fidelity of the due dates within this class with regard to deadline. In addition, the Student at-Risk Support Team, SARS, is here to respond to concerns around mental health and physical well-being, security, and academic issues, offering additional intervention and connecting students with appropriate resources on campus through this website. So if you have any concerns with regard to this, let me know, let these individuals know. Reach out to them, reach out to me. I can get you connected with them it's completely anonymous, right? If you contact these people online, you don't have to give your name. It never filters back down to me if you don't want it to be. And look at this. If you look at the first paragraph, the word well-being, mental health and well-being, look, it's not hyphenated. This is part of an English composition class, right? They should have stuck to this. Well-being is not hyphenated, and that's fine. But the well-being in the very last paragraph, physical well-being, is hyphenated. And I would say to you, if this was your paper, I would say just be consistent. Either have them both hyphenated or have them both smashed together as one word. So we just want to stay consistent. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Student responsibilities. So the things in which you sort of have to bring to the table. Attend online classes on a regular basis. So listen to my lectures. If there's a lecture that day, I would have emailed it to you and simultaneously have posted it to Blackboard and say, hey, it's on Blackboard, right? So I'll let you know if there's going to be a lecture. There's going to be some days where it's strictly just you going to Blackboard, either uploading your essay for discussion, for individuals to go in there, other students go in there and make commentary on it, or you're going in there to give commentary. Log into Blackboard daily to participate in class discussions, attend online lectures and workshops, check email on a daily basis for the class updates, be attentive and respectful to the instructor and your fellow students at all times. That's typically not a problem. Be observant of the diversity and ideas of subject matter expressed in class. All right, final slide, questions. As always, if you have any questions or concerns with regard to this class, please reach out to me via Blackboard email at any time. So via email, I almost said Blackboard there, email at any time, and I'll reply swiftly. Remember too, my daily lecture link will be simultaneously posted to Blackboard and emailed to you by 1 p.m. each day. If there is a lecture that day, I'll let you know either way. So some days, as you can see within the course outline dates, there's to be times where it's simply just you writing or you going in and doing participating within the discussion with regard to individuals' rough drafts. Note, Chapter 3 summary is due this Friday, June 5th, via email by midnight to me. Be sure to label it Chapter 3 summary in the subject line so I know that you did it and I know how to search on it and quickly look it up. Note 2, essay expectations. So the essay expectations for this class, I briefly covered it before, and I'll cover it in depth tomorrow. Rough drafts can be a minimum of 2 pages, double-spaced, that you're going to upload to Blackboard, but your final drafts will be 3 to 5 pages, double-spaced, Times New Roman font, 1-inch margins, etc. We'll cover all that, as I said before, in depth tomorrow. So a big change already, where we get the blue arrow here. It's not. Let's not post our final draft of our essays, the ones that are due every Monday, to Blackboard, but you will instead email it to me, and I'll remind you every Friday of that change, and you will label, just like you're doing with the chapter summaries, you'll label each essay, final essay, whatever essay it is we're working on that week, and the first one will be personal essay, so you label it personal essay in the subject line, right? Expository will be in the subject line for your expository essay when we turn that in, and so on and so forth. All right, guys, email me if you have any questions. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.